How's it going, everyone? My name is Seth Robbins. I'm a member of Cohort 17 for life, as the kids say, and I started in 2016. So I've been in your chairs, not literally, because we'd be sitting by each other on your couch, and that would be probably kind of weird. But I know what it's like to be looking down the barrel of like 3 years and thinking, "Shucks, this is going to be long." But I made it through and really enjoyed the experience as a result. Uh, my area of concentration was ESOL, English for Speakers of Other Languages, and my dissertation was focused on academic achievement and retention among ESL learners. It was a study of grit in an online context. And uh, I feel a lot of gratitude actually for West Georgia and for the topic that I was able to do for my dissertation because it launched me into my current career path. Right now, I'm a full-time faculty in our academic support department, as well as the director of the Freshman Success Center at Brigham Young University, Idaho. And this would not have happened had I not done this degree. When I went into it, I hoped that this was what would happen. I'd become a full-time faculty, but I feel really blessed that that came to fruition. Um, just there's a couple of questions that I've been asking, and I'll try to answer them hopefully succinctly. And and in a way that might be meaningful for all of you. One of the first questions was, what was one of the most rewarding things about this program? Initially, like I mentioned, that initial 3 years of thinking, shucks, I just kind of want to get through this and get my degree. Some of you are probably thinking this, and I don't blame you, but that was never like my motivation for any of the previous schooling that I had done in my life. I always really loved the academic experience and environment at a university. And so I was I was glad to see that original thinking was disabused as I started going through my coursework and started working on my dissertation, because I really felt myself thinking, boy, I really am learning a lot here. These are challenging a lot of ideas that I used to have and reshaping my thinking. And right now, I think previously I was a passionate educator, but I think it helped me to become even more passionate about my students, especially students who are underprepared, underprivileged, my international students, and really helping them to succeed and to achieve the things that they want to. I hope that it's made me a better teacher. I'd like to believe so, but that was the most rewarding part, as well as seeing a major career goal um, happen as a result of finishing my doctoral degree. That was really rewarding. Another question is, what were some of the biggest challenges? And for me, they were twofold. Number one was the financial aspect. One of my major goals not only was to finish my dissertation, but also to graduate debt free. And I know that probably sounds crazy, but for me, I thought, "Oh, shucks, I don't want to pay for this thing forever." And so I'd already been teaching online in addition to my regular full-time job. And I determined that I would just continue to teach online in as much as it wasn't interfering with my ability to be successful with, like the 6 or 9 credits of doctoral, coursework I was doing. So I taught 10 credits a semester for BYU Hawaii, teaching ESL classes online, and was able to pay along the way for the most part. And then we had a couple of really pleasant surprises. We moved from Hawaii to Idaho. Um, that was a pleasant surprise, even though I loved Hawaii. Um, so a couple of job changes, and we added 2 more kids to the family through the course of that 3 years. So we went from 3 kids to 5 kids, and so I wasn't able to pay along the way as I'd always hoped, but and I needed to take out about $6,000 worth of student loans. But because after I graduated, I have continued to teach online. It allowed me to pay off that $6,000 within my first year of graduating, and now I can say that I'm debt free, and that's almost as gratifying as it was to actually have been able to complete my coursework and my dissertation. And then balancing family time was a major challenge as well because um, I call it doctoral degree guilt. But when I would largely use Saturdays as my days to complete homework assignments and things like that. Weekdays as well, but largely Saturdays. And so it was hard being at my office, most of the day on Saturday, working on, homework and things like that. And I'd feel these pangs of guilt thinking, oh, shucks, I should be with my family. And then I found the converse true when I was with family on Saturdays when we had big events and things like that, that I'd find myself thinking, oh, shucks, I still have, all these homework assignments to do, and finding myself like up till 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning, or even later sometimes Saturday night, trying to catch up. But, all of it is worth it now. Like all of those challenges, maybe I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses, are now part of what made it all worth it. And I'm glad actually to be able to say that my wife is no longer a dissertation widow and my kids aren't dissertation orphans anymore, that we made it through together. So those challenges were part of actually what has made graduating part of the sweetest part. Is there anything that I would have done differently? No, absolutely not. This program has meant a lot to me. As I mentioned, I felt like so transformed. Even over the course of 3 years, I feel like the person that I was in 2016, I'm not the same type of educator that I was before. I mean, and a lot of inner qualities that I'd wanted to kind of develop in myself, of being more tenacious and passionate and having more perseverance, I felt like I was able to develop those. And I found in doing a dissertation focused on grit, Angela Duckworth's grit, I thought this would be highly ironic, actually, if I quit this and I'm doing a dissertation about grit. So just by virtue of doing that topic, I felt like I had to be gritty. But and that's changed everything. It's the main focus. Mindset and grit are some of the main focuses foci of the courses that I teach. So, all right, some advice. I'll try to be really motivational, but also quick. I would just recommend stop worrying about whether or not you're good enough or not, because you're not yet. Right now, right? But that's the point of this whole thing, is that you will become good enough to defend your dissertation, to graduate. It's part of the process. It's why you're doing this. So no one expects you to have the skills that you need right now. They do expect and will support you in your development of those skills over the next 2 and 3 years. So don't spend a lot of precious mental and emotional energy on that. And one thing I found to be true is finishing your coursework and your dissertation is not so much about intelligence. You're smart enough, that's where you've been admitted. It's really more of a matter of diligence, just putting in the effort every single day, not giving up, staying up sometimes till 2 and 3 in the morning to finish that assignment, even though you don't want to, but because that's part and parcel of this big goal that you have to finish your doctoral degree. And again, I apologize for the screaming back there. I would also recommend that you make real connections with your faculty, not just email connections, but those who are on your committee. Call them up, have a Zoom chat with them, make a real connection with them. I was able to do that with both my faculty members, Dr. Jennifer Allen, Dr. Abbott Packard, and I just love and respect them so much. They made time for me. I set monthly kind of accountability Zoom meetings with them, Zoom meetings with them. And this helped me to have these mini goals that by the time we have this next meeting, I want to have this done and I want to have this chapter done. And it also allowed for us to kind of develop more of a rapport and for me to get specific, feedback and insights into some of the recommendations they were giving me. Here's one that I think is really important, is not the most important for me, but really important, is to not defend your dissertation until the defense. Don't waste all of this energy and sour relationships by arguing with your faculty and your committee, like, oh man, I want this in my dissertation and they want me to take it out, or they want me to add this to my dissertation that I don't want to. I cut things out of my dissertation. I added things to my dissertation that I wouldn't have thought myself, but I'd like to think it made it better. And here's the other reality. Now that I'm finished, I don't think about all the things that I cut out of my dissertation or they asked me to add. I just kind of relish and revel in the fact that I'm finished, that I was able to do it. And then this is the most important advice that I would give to you that I think helped me, is I was buoyed constantly by this thought that there are plenty of smarter people than me who have finished their dissertation. And I think if you're still watching this, if you're still hard up enough for entertainment that you're watching this, you probably have already gathered that. But here's, I think, what's also true that helped me is there are probably people who are dumber than me who have finished their dissertation. And if they could do it, why can't I? And if a schlub like I can do this, why can't you? And the answer is you can. If you have that goal and you have these high expectations for yourself, then push yourself and you'll be supported by your faculty and by your family. There'll be major supports for you. And when you climb, Mount Dissertation, it's going to be really sweet, to be atop of that mountain. It'll be emotional, spiritual, even to think that you've been able to do something, so incredible. So that's my advice to you. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy your experience, and in 3 years, I'll be excited to see my Facebook feed and see how many of you are graduating. So thanks so much.